Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Gear review today. We're going to be reviewing this headlamp, Quantum Headlamp from Harbor Freight. See if it's good for camping or not. Let's get into it and see what it's all about. Okay, so I was at Harbor Freight the other day buying a bunch of junk that I probably shouldn't need, but came across this little headlamp that was, I think it was $9, $8-9 or something at the time. They were having like one of their sidewalk sale deals that they have all the time. So I saw this and I'm like, you know what? I've got a few headlamps, but the last time we were camping, I gave it to a couple of the boys that were with us. They were playing like flashlight tag in the dark and stuff, and a couple of them end up broken. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a cheap one to replace that. Either the kids can use it or whatever. It's probably not the best headlamp, but it's 310 lumens, which is not super bright, but for a headlamp, you don't need much more than that. It's supposed to have a 580 foot range and 4.5 hour runtime, probably on the lowest setting. So we'll check it out. We'll see if it's any good or not. I think for just camping around a campsite, this will be fine. You know, it doesn't have like the night vision red and all that stuff on it, but for the average user who's sitting around camp, this might be cool. So let's open it up. Let's check it out. I'll give you some impressions and we'll see if it's good or not. So let's get started. Oh, by the way, have you noticed my cool new hat, right? Yeah, Mateo Outdoors hats. I don't have any for sale. I'm not gonna pitch my merch right now, but I just thought it was cool, so I bought it because I got a deal on it for like 2 of them. So I'm like, yeah, I need to have one. If for some reason you guys want one, I'll make them, but I doubt anybody wants a Mateo Outdoors beanie hat, especially at the end of winter. But hey, you never know, maybe. Let me know. All right, so this is the deeply bright Quantum Swivel Headlamp QLH 310. Like I said, I bought it at Harbor Freight. It's supposed to have an adjustable angle that swings down 90 degrees from your head, so you can kind of shine a light down at the trail you're looking at. If for some reason, so I wear mine over, you know, if I'm wearing a beanie at camp at night or a hat or something, I've always got a hat on or something. So this is supposed to go over a hard hat compatible, or a helmet or something like that, but it would easily go over like a ball cap and stuff like that. So I got it for that reason. It's supposed to have high, low, and a strobe. Strobe, I guess, is more for if you're in trouble or something, you want to like send some type of signal. That's not a bad thing if you're out hiking at night, you know, or in the dark, you happen to get lost. You can put that off to hopefully someone can come find you. High beam, I probably wouldn't use too much if I'm out camping because it's just too bright. But if you're hiking on a trail or something, that might come in handy. But just know, the longer you run it in high beam mode, the less battery time you're going to get. So, like I said, this shows that you get 4.5 hours of runtime off of one charge, or up to 4.5. But you're not going to get 4.5 hours of runtime on when you're running on high. So, and then it gives you the usual like, oh my gosh, caution, it's so bright, don't look directly into it. You shouldn't do that anyway. And then it's supposed to, I think this swivels to make either like a really focused square beam or kind of a wider floodlight type thing. It's supposed to have up to a 580 foot range, which I'm assuming is on that ultra focus mode. And then the floodlight mode, I doubt is much more than maybe 20-30 feet ahead of you, which is all you need when you're trying to kind of light stuff up. And then, like I said, 310 lumens, which, you know, I'm sure there's flashlights out there that are like 2,000 lumens. It looks like the light of the sun, but you don't need that. You know, 300 lumens, plenty for walking around camp at night. Okay, so that's the front. The back, so the back shows more of the light. It looks like it has kind of a battery pack on the back. So it looks like it's 3 AAA batteries, and then it's a wire that's running around the elastic strap. I'm not a huge fan of that. I like where the batteries are kind of built into the light itself. But, you know, for $8, beggars can't be choosers. So that's what it is. So it looks like battery replacement is just remove the old batteries, 3 AAA batteries to the battery holder, blah, blah, blah. Operation, fit on top of head, adjust straps, press the button to turn on, press the button again to use economy mode, which is kind of low light. Press the button again to use the strobe mode, press the button again to turn off. So it's not like, and then slide the end to adjust the beam focus. So you're basically sliding this in and out to get that focus mode or that floodlight mode. So it's not like some traditional lights to like focus through the modes is like a double tap on the button type thing, where you would turn it on. So the button's up here, by the way. It's not like a double tap in that sense. It's just you're kind of cycling through the modes every single time. So no matter when you turn it on or off, you're going to have to see that strobe. You're going to have to see that low light or highlight or whatever. So I'm not a huge fan of that, but it's not like a deal breaker either. It's just 2 more clicks that you got to do. All right, so let's open it up and see what's inside. There we go. All right. So let's get it out. There's no paperwork or nothing inside. So here is the headlamp. Oh, it's got like an elasticy, like, I don't know what that's called, like a telephone cord kind of thing for the older people. Young people probably don't know what a telephone cord is. But it's like a phone cord type thing. Guess I'm dating myself there a bit. To kind of stretch, I guess. I feel like that would be annoying. I don't like the look of it. So it does, the back battery pack has like a, I just pushed something in. So I don't know if something popped off. But it looks like, I wonder if this is the battery cover. It is. Okay, so the battery cover is just this soft rubber seal. I don't know how waterproof that's going to be. I mean, it is rubber. It does feel soft, so I don't feel like that's going to create like a hot spot on your head or anything. But I kind of would have preferred somewhat of a door or something for the battery rather than just this. I feel like if you drop this, that could easily get popped off and the batteries could slip out. The front that goes against your head on the inside has kind of more of that soft foam rubber. So that's kind of good. The clips are covered by the adjustment clips or straps here. The clips to adjust the tension are covered by the straps. So I don't feel like that would give you a hot spot, but this metal piece here that's holding the cord on, I feel like that is going to dig into your head if you're not wearing some type of hat. So that might be annoying the more you wear it. I just twisted it all up. Okay, there we go. So this does kind of click down, so that's kind of nice. To kind of click between angles, so as it's on your head, you can kind of tilt it down a little bit more, right, to kind of go between the modes. And then this is the kind of pull out or out and in to kind of get that focus mode, and then that's kind of more the floodlight. It does pull nicely. It has a little bit of resistance on it, so I think it'll hold. Like if you pull it out halfway, I don't feel like walking on it's going to adjust that, so it should hold it fairly nice. That's pretty much it. It says Quantum all over it in yellow. Not a huge fan of that, but it's not horrible. You got to market your stuff, I guess. So yeah, let's see, what is it? Warning. Permanent loss of sight. Oh yeah, don't use the focus beam and point somebody in the eyes. I guess that's a pretty common thing, I guess you should say. If you wear a headlamp and you're in camp and you're not used to wearing headlamps in camp, when you're walking around camp, make sure this thing's all the way down, pointed at your feet, because you don't notice when it's straight and you look at someone, boom, you're not blinding them, right? So if you're in camp, just use etiquette, make it pointed down. This is my, what's the word? Your informational thing of the day. I don't know why, I know there's a word for it, but I can't think of it. So on the top, you've got a soft kind of rubber coated button. So maybe this thing is meant to be a little waterproof. So everything seems pretty much sealed. I doubt it's waterproof, but maybe water resistant. So it might take some rain if you're in the rain, I guess is what I'm saying. But I wouldn't go swimming with it, So let's see the light. If I turn off the light, it's still fairly light in here today, but I'll try to do it in my shadow. So that is the flood mode. And that's so that was high beam. There's strobe. Sorry about that if anybody has, I'm gonna give somebody a seizure, right? So there's a high beam. And then to focus it, I'm gonna do this, you can see it well. So that's focused, right? So it just brings kind of more of a square. Can you rotate this at all? Doesn't look like you can rotate or anything. Mainly just in and out. So it's lighting up fairly good. I would say from out in the woods, this will light up your trail pretty well. And then it does come down to a fairly small focused beam. So if you do need that focused light, you hear a noise in the woods or something and it's scaring you at night, this should be able to focus down into exact that area where you saw and pinpoint some light, But that's pretty much good enough. I would put it all the way in when you're walking around at camp. Like I said, tilt it down when you're wearing it. So I'll pop this thing on now and see what it looks like on your head. All right, so I got it on my head. I didn't adjust any of the straps or anything, so this is just out of the box tension. It doesn't feel super tight, but it could probably be a little looser. I feel like if I were to wear this for a couple hours around camp, it might get a little frustrating. I'm not a fan of the top strap. Maybe some people are. I might remove this, to be honest, because there's no wires or cords that run around it. So I might remove this top strap. I prefer just kind of the side straps, especially in summer at camp. I'll wear like a ball cap or something. So I'll just wear a ball cap and just pop this over kind of the top of it around the brim type thing. And then it gives me some light, If you do have a ball cap and you're wearing one with a brim, turn it around backwards with the brim out back so that way you can have your headlamp pointed down. So on your head, I can feel the button up here to turn it on and off real easy. Everything else is kind of smooth and, metal. So I don't know if I mentioned this, but the light itself is metal. So it's not like a cheap plastic or something like that. The materials do feel very good quality for $8. It doesn't feel cheap plastic or anything like that. Everything is metal, minus the lens is plastic. It's not glass. But the button up here has enough difference that you can feel it pretty easy with a hand. If you're wearing a glove, it's raised up enough that you can feel it with a gloved hand to be able to turn it on and off. So I feel like it takes some getting used to kind of do the tilt without pulling the lens down for focus mode if you're grabbing it from just up here, right? But, I can do it fairly easy. If I grab towards the back, I can turn it down without pulling that down. Again, not a huge deal. You can turn it down and pull that into focus mode if you want to and still pivot and looks like stuff like that. Here's a side view. I feel like it comes out a little long for what I prefer. I prefer something a little closer to the body type thing, a lower profile light. But my other headlamps that are low profile don't have that focus mode of like a flashlight. So maybe it's worth it. It's not horrible, if it's facing down and it's in focus mode, I can see it. Like, in my line of vision, and that's kind of annoying me. If I push it up, it's not as bad, but I can still see it in my peripheral vision up in front of me, and I feel like that would kind of annoy me for a while, so maybe I won't, maybe, let's see, right about here is probably low angled enough that I'm not blinding someone, but it's not enough in my peripherals that it would annoy me. So there's kind of the side view. So this is straight up. It's probably like 2 clicks down would be enough. If you go the 3rd click down, that's like straight down. That's like, it's in my peripheral vision and it annoys me. But again, personal preference, right? All right, so that's the Quantum Headlamp from Harbor Freight for $8. Good deal. So let's do the pros and cons list. So pro, it's cheap, right? You can pick up probably 4 or 5 of these if you're going on camping. Everyone can have their own, and it's not so bad. So price. Another pro is this focus mode where you can kind of focus the beam of light. I don't see that a lot on a lot of like traditional camping headlights. So pro on that, you can really focus the beam if you need to. Another pro, it has 3 different modes, right? So it's got the high, the low, and then the strobe. What else? It says it's supposed to run 4.5 hours, probably on the low mode. I don't know if I'm putting that in pro or con. It's not a great amount of time, but it's not horrible either. For running off 3 AAA batteries, that's not terrible. 310 lumens, that's pretty bright. It's bright enough for what you need. The people that brag about my flashlight is 4,000 lumens, it's the light of the sun. You're that guy in a campground that has like the sun lamp spotlight, and like everybody is just like, dude, chill. You don't need that, unless you're like in a fight or something. I guess you can use a flashlight for like a tactical advantage type thing, but like we're talking about camping headlights, not the same. So those are the pros. So cons. There's no like night vision mode. Like a lot of my headlamps will have a red light on them so that it doesn't mess up your night vision. You can turn the light on, still see everything well, but it's not going to destroy your kind of night vision that you've naturally acclimated to as it got darker. Kind of like if you're in the middle of the night and you flash a light on and then you turn it off, you can't see shit, or can't see stuff, then it's not, that there's no mode for that. It's just white light. Another con is it's got some, like I've been wearing this now for 10 minutes and I can already feel this clip. It's kind of annoying. And this like phone cord thing, probably, I don't know, it doesn't look the best. It's not kind of sleek and stylish where it almost disappears into your hat at night. If you're, aware of that. It has this big yellow writing on it, kind of annoying. And the top head strap, I'm not a fan of. So there. Any other cons? The runtime is not huge. So if you're planning on taking a hike in this, if for some reason you're out on a hike and you're relying on this to get you back to camp, 4.5 hours, hopefully you're back to camp by 4.5 hours, and you've been headed back for a while. But if you're looking for this to get you through the night, 4.5 hours is not going to be enough time. So based on your needs, good or not. So I'll leave that to you. Any other cons on this? Just the kind of bulk and the size of it, kind of annoying a little bit. But like I said, that list of cons is not huge. It's actually okay of a list for, like I said, you're balancing the price versus what you get. Like I said, there's a lot better headlamps out there for camping that are more costly, but for a cheap option that you're picking up at Harbor Freight, those are known for like cheaper stuff. This will do. It'll work just fine, and especially I was planning to give this to my kids when we go out camping. For a couple kids, I'm pretty sure this can take some good abuse. It's kind of built for construction too, right? For hard hats. So I'm sure it could take some beating and dropping on the ground and stuff without breaking. So it does feel good quality materials and stuff. So I would recommend it. I'll recommend it for just kind of light camping use and, you know, around the house at night or a little trail or something to just kind of light it up if when you want those hands free and you don't want to have a flashlight. So it is convenient for that. Could I modify this in any way? They do have on the flashlight itself, they have these little clips or these little grooves where the strapping goes through. I wonder if you could find a way to take the straps off and run some molly webbing through it. And like if you had a backpack, you could strap it to your back strap or your backpack strap and provide some light there. So if you don't want it on your head, you're pointing at wherever your torso is going and not where if you're talking to someone or something and you're not blinding them every time you look at them, you're still lights ahead on the trail. So you could modify that. Probably you would still have to have this battery pack with it, but these clips could easily come off of this strap and be mounted somewhere in your back to have this strap kind of go up your shoulder strap and have this mounted, you know, somewhere else in your backpack maybe in this like top utility pouch. So pros and cons, I like it. I recommend it. It's got some modifying I want to do to it. I want to get the strap off, but other than that, not bad. Quantum Headlamp from Harbor Freight. Sorry, outro got cut off there. So, if you like this type of content, I appreciate subscribe down below. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Let me know your favorite headlamp. Do you have a favorite headlamp? Which one do you use? I might show some of mine in the future. I by no means have like the real high-end ones. I use and abuse headlamps, so I'm not going to spend like $200 on one just to break it when I can spend $8 on one and beat the hell out of it for a season or two and spend another $8 next year. I'm sure over time that adds up to the more expensive one, but I don't care. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.